Well, I made it through all of those, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the Open RPG experiment coming up again this Saturday. And I'm going to keep doing these every Saturday forever. So if nobody shows up this week, we'll be doing it again next week. But Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time, on this channel, we are going to be doing an Open RPG experiment. And by that, I mean I'm going to be game mastering literally for as many players as post their names and character information in the chat. I am absolutely convinced that with the numbers that we have seen for Discord's usage, Twitch's usage, that I will not be overwhelmed. And I challenge you as players, definitely show up and prove me wrong, because I would be glad, I would be happy to give you the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, this I can't handle. But I submit to you that there is a possibility that I can handle every game player that shows up on Saturday morning. And I don't care how you do it. You want to go get 1,000 people and make me eat my words, that's okay, because I love a challenge. The Twitch Open RPG experiment is this. As a storyteller, I've noticed that there are hundreds and hundreds. Today I counted, there's over 560 RPG sessions on Twitch live today. And that was as of, I think, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that didn't include any games that resolved before. But the games that were active at that point were 500 different RPGs. Now, there are 33,000, I think the numbers are 33,000 role-play game enthusiasts that are engaged on the Twitch channel for RPGs, and I think that's Dungeons and Dragons specifically. But even if you open it up and you include all RPGs, you're probably looking at another third. So if it was 33,000, we're looking at 50,000, maybe more. Let's call it. Let's be generous. Say it's 60,000. 60,000 versus the 500 or 600 events would mean that somewhere about 10 or 11 would be a cap out on what you could expect to have as an average. Now, the actual numbers from what I've seen from the Twitch backside is considerably less than that. The average game master expects to host a game for between 3 or 4 viewers overall, and some of them, of course, are much larger than that. A certain critical success at this, whose role has become the forerunner in the genre, that group can have 14,000 people watching the show at any given time, and that's outstanding. They've got millions of eyeballs overall that have participated, and I'm not going to be able to compete with that. Not in my second week. We're on episode 11, so we haven't even gone 2 weeks yet. But the idea is that I anticipate that anybody who hops on, opens into the chat, says, "Hi, my name is blah blah, and I want to play this and that." Going to be in the world of Nykos. I'll start rolling them into the story, and as many players as we have, I will find ways to accommodate all of you. Like I said, break the system, please. Prove me wrong, and then we'll have a new chat to talk about the following week on how we can do what I intend. But my point is that a open RPG environment, even if it has long-standing story arcs, in which case Nykos' story is 6.5 years real time, you'd have to play every week for 6.5 years to see the entire arc play through. And I currently have 2 people in my group that are still dedicated players, that are still plugging along, who have made it through the 8th iteration, and they are the first 2 people who've made it through a full cycle of the iteration from beginning to end, and they are still waiting with bated breath to know that the 8th iteration has completed, because then their stories can finalize and be done so that we can prepare the world for what will be the 9th iteration. having said all that, the whole point is the open game experience is open to experiment is open to anybody who is listening to this on YouTube or Twitch or in the podcast, Game Master Soapbox. Feel free to jump onto twitch.tv/NycosRPG. Join with us and play a role-play game with all of us simultaneously, and I will accommodate all of you in the story. And we're going to do it through the text. Now, if you are a role player with any experience and are willing to, you can also become a supporter of this show by backing our Patreon, which is at patreon.com/Nykos. That's Nykos without the RPG, just NYCOS. But the NycosRPG, the Nykos Patreon is your ticket to actually being audibly on the channel with me. I have a Discord, and once you become a member of the Patreon at the $20 value, you can then access the Discord. Once you've accessed the Discord, we have a 3-question disclaimer. Once we're done with that, then you're allowed to come right onto the channel with us and play role-play games while everyone else is sitting in the chat room discussing. So theoretically, if somebody wants to take this to heart and they want to invite an entire RPG group to become a patron of my account, and they want to be a part of this group and want to be the voices that are dominant on the show, I am more than willing to do that as well. So make sure you're aware of that so that we can work through that. Now, in that case, honestly, we're not going to be including, I don't have to say honestly, that's a verbal engine tool, but we are going to be doing it only through audio channel because it will be theoretically part of a show, and if it's part of a show, then it will be made into a podcast. So that's just the mechanism. There won't be visual at that point. So even if you have a camera, you needn't worry about that. And if you're afraid of cameras, even better. And if you don't want to talk on screen, then just jump on the Discord. On the Twitch channel. Watch with us and include your information in the chat box so I'll know that you're a part of the game experience. So it is 4 hours, so it'll run from 10 o'clock until 2 p.m. every Saturday. And this will be technically session 2, but last week's episode, which was recorded and is available, was sort of like a session 0. So you may want to watch that before joining us on Saturday. But it's not required, because I'm going to be open in conversation to cover any questions that might come up as well. So I've now said all of that to say this. I hope you had a fun time with me this afternoon. If you like what you heard, click the like button, follow the channel, add a subscription if you can. That'll really help the channel's growth. And make sure that you also leave a comment so that I know that you are here, because the comments help me to understand the outreach that I'm doing. And if you didn't like what I had to say, if what I said made no sense to you, by all means share this video with everybody else and get their opinions, because I guarantee if you ask other people whether this was a fun conversation or not, they're going to tell you yes it was. But that's okay. That's okay. If not, definitely leave a comment. Let me know what how you feel about it, because I am perfectly fine with dealing with anything. I've got rather tough shoulders. Like I said, I lost a daughter in a marriage, so there you go. Alrighty, so we are going to get out of here. I will see you next week, next show, which is tomorrow night, and also remember Saturday at 10 a.m. This is Jonathan Albin, Game Master J, and this has been the Game Master Soapbox. Bye-bye, everybody.